Purpose of tonight's hearing is to provide you all and the general public a opportunity to view and comment on the draft 2026 to 2030 consolidated plan, as well as the annual action plan for city fiscal year 2026, which began July 1st, 2025, of which constitutes our CD 51 award period. We, are in this process. This is one of those ones where we didn't receive our information from HUD until later in the spring. So we're now moving this through the process. The consolidated plan itself identifies priority goals and needs for all of the HUD formula grants. So that's the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Home Investment Partnership, Home Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS, HOPWA, and the Emergency Solutions Grant, or ESG programs. And then the annual action plan identifies specific activities that would be undertaken in the coming year to implement the strategies that are in the 5-year consolidated plan, as well as that annual action plan, just as a reminder, serves as the official city application for those 4 Formula 1 grants. So tonight we have Deputy Commissioner Mary Correa that will be here. We also have Susan Moriarty from our team is here, and Chief of Policy and Research Kimberly Rubens is on with us as well as Assistant Commissioner David Fielder is with us this evening too. So with that, we also have Eugene and Stephanie from our project finance team, and Lakeisha Williams. Sorry, I saw Lakeisha's face earlier, so I didn't mean to forget you. But we also have Lakeisha Williams from the Mayor's Office of Homeless Services, as well as that relates to HOPWA and ESG funding. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Commissioner Correa just to go over the proceedings and then move through just the process, the priority needs, all of the fun stuff.
Thanks, Commissioner. If all of you could please take a minute, drop your name, your organization, email in the chat. If you have any questions that you can drop those in the chat. We'll hold questions until the end where we'll have an open discussion period, but and we'll take those in the order that we get them. And then if we run out of questions, we can just go to round robin, raise your hand discussions, but feel free to start dropping information in the chat and we'll look at that when we get down to the end. So the consolidated planning process is one where we undertake, so to back up a little bit, as the Commissioner said, the consolidated plan is what we use to basically guide the next 5 years of the 4 formula grants that we get from HUD. And HUD has a lot of guidelines on what we need to do to gather information for that consolidated plan to make sure that it is as informed as possible. We gather data, we look at information, and we pull that together. We also do listening sessions and comments. We pull from other listening sessions that have happened that we feel would be relevant and other plans that are relevant. Some of the ones that we've looked at are the City of Baltimore's comprehensive plan from our Department of Planning, our draft citywide housing plan that Director Rubens is overseeing, the Maryland DHCD, BVRI, and the Baltimore City Reframe Baltimore initiatives, which are focused on eliminating vacants within the City of Baltimore. We have the Baltimore Metropolitan Council's 2025 Baltimore Regional Fair Housing Plan that they put together for our Regional Fair Housing Consortium. We have the Continuum of Care and Journey Home. And then we also have our framework for community development that we put together. And what we identified through those processes is our priority needs for the coming 5 years. And these are pretty large bore categories that a lot of activity can filter under, but it allows us to kind of coalesce into a handful of categories, the things that we really want to focus on in the coming 5 years. That's preserving and increasing affordable housing, strategic property change, housing and services to homeless, vital social, economic, and community development services, and then effective and efficient planning and administration of basically of the 4 formula grants over those 5 years. And so for our first goal, for preserving and increasing affordable housing, you can see the expected outcomes by the program year, which is this current fiscal year. It's a little confusing because HUD's program year is a year behind our fiscal year. So if you see something with 2025 on it, actually means this current fiscal year.
Mary,
Yep.
I'm sorry. I think you're sharing your screen, but it's not showing up for the rest of
Susan
us.
should be sharing her screen.
Susan, if you are, it's not showing up.
I can see it.
I can see it.
Does anyone else have any issues? The slide should say 5-year goals and projects.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I can see it.
Okay. Yep. All right. I think it's me then. All right.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Thanks, Ryan. So this just looks at the number of rental housing units, the new homeowner units, the rehabilitation of occupied homes, abating lead and other toxins, providing homeownership counseling, and then providing home buyer incentives to allow people more affordability to purchase their homes. Goal 2, housing and services to the homeless. When it says provide homeless shelters, that's basically the number of persons or households to be assisted with that. It's not developing 4,000 homeless shelters. It's how many people we're able to support. Operating supportive housing, rapid rehousing, homelessness prevention, day services, and street outreach. Vital support services. So these are a lot of what fall under what we call public services. And that's our senior centers, our youth services, some of our legal support services, health services, kind of general and other services. You might have things like job training under that, and fair housing services to make sure that we are enforcing fair housing laws in the city of Baltimore. And then there's economic development. So that's workforce development, Main Street and neighborhood business districts, assisting new and emerging businesses, and nonprofit capacity building. And strategic property change, these are those things that are supporting, what's already out there in the built environment. So that would be our code enforcement, supporting demolition and stabilization, and then site improvements and cleanups. Things like cleaning and boarding go under that. And the 5th one, Susan. And then administration and planning, that is primarily the consolidated planning divisions in conjunction with like our executive team and others, the overall grants administration, but we also do use some amount of our general administration and planning money for example, things like the housing plan that we're working on, providing funding for some of that, providing funding to some of our nonprofit partners who have been with us for a very long time, and their activities can only be categorized in that way. All right, and then to get into the program year 2025, city fiscal year 2026 action plan, which is fiscal year 26 and CD 51. Year over year, we have been seeing cuts to our programs. For example, over the past 5 years, CDBG has been reduced by over $2 million in the past 5 years. But this shows you basically the amount of funding that we were awarded by HUD for this fiscal year, the percentage change on that, and what that dollar amount looks like. And just as a reminder, the 4 formula grants are exactly that. They are calculated using formulas that HUD has. And if you dig deep enough on their website, you can see exactly what the math is for that. For CDBG, it is kind of a rough cut of population times poverty. But once Congress makes their appropriations, then HUD goes ahead and divvies up the funding according to the formula. We are generally among the 10 largest CDBG awards annually. We have been sitting right around 7th or 8th largest over the past several years. And this just gives you a sense of the overall federal funding from HUD that flows into the city each year, with a total of just shy of 35 million for this year. Funding uses for CDBG. So CDBG has to meet one of 3 national objectives: low to moderate income benefit. Oh, you know what? Let me talk about this first. So the whole point of the CDBG funding really is to expend at least 70% of the funding over a 3-year period on things that benefit low and moderate income persons. That's really kind of one of the primary goals of CDBG, is for it to serve low and moderate income communities. We generally use about 85% of our CDBG funds. That way, you know, the percentages might go up and down a little bit each year, but we really try and keep the percentage of how much we use to serve low and mod income communities pretty high. And then the rest is basically used to eliminate slum and blighted conditions, and that could be anywhere from demolition to stabilization, sometimes rehabilitation. CDBG public service and planning and admin cap. So some of you may be familiar with the email that I sent out a couple of weeks ago talking about us having reached our public service cap. So the regulations that go
Mary, it's looking like you froze. If you're hearing us.
Yeah, my power just flickered here.
Yeah, I think I
couldn't have
froze.
noticed.
I froze as well. It was a issue.
Yeah,
I saw
right. Yeah.
And then freeze.
Mary is still froze. I can continue on in this vein. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly where she was going with it, but we have 2 caps, one of which caps the amount of funds that we can spend on public service, and the other one caps the amount that we can spend on administrative activities. And so together, those are about 35% of what we get in CDBG. We tend to run very close to the maximum amount that we can spend. And as some of you know, this year we've had to make adjustments because of the public service cap. Prior year, we had to make adjustments because of the admin cap. So this is something we just have to deal with. It's out of our control what that cap is. It's mandated. Let's see the funding allocations this year. About $23 million in requests were received, which is about $3.2 million more than we received from HUD, or will be receiving from HUD. And so obviously that's the main reason why we haven't been able to fund everything that we were asked to fund. Let's see, next. Okay, the public comment period for this this plan, the consolidated plan and the annual action plan, started on June 30th and it will end on July 30th of 2025. You can send me written comments if you'd like. We're also obviously recording the comments we get for tonight. So those will be included. If you're going to send something to me, 5 o'clock on the 30th is the deadline. And then we'll submit it to HUD following that public comment period, no later than August 8th is what our plan is. And anything that we get from you all will be included in what we end up submitting. We also have to send
Just a
it.
heads up that I'm back. You can
Okay.
you can finish this slide if you want, but I'm back, just so you know.
Okay. Once we have submitted the plan to HUD, they've got 45 days to either approve it or send it back to us for revisions. And they usually do send it back for revisions. They, they're monitors. Their job is to find something that we should have done better. And we love them for that. Then the annual action plan has to go to the city's Board of Estimates. Actually, probably the consolidated plan has to go too. I just overlooked that. It needs to be approved before the operating contracts or any MOUs can be executed from our office. And then reimbursement for expenses for those activities that our subrecipients, you all, incur. You can begin from July 1st. So the year started July 1st. And then once you send us we'll get those contracts out to you, and then you can send in your reimbursement requests. And as I already said, the expenses can be incurred starting July 1st. So last paragraph. Okay, I think it's back to Alice or Mary. Can't remember.
We're just going to kick off the public comment part. I seem to have lost the content of the chat when my power went out. So if there are comments in the chat of anyone who wants to speak, I can't see it. David, if you can see it, you can moderate, or folks can raise their hands and we can just call on anyone who wants to discuss.
So far, nothing in the chat, just everybody sharing the same shared experience of storms, lightning, and electrical flickers. So we are all, I think, sharing that mutual experience right now. So we will try to make it through. Colin from GHHI did say, that they thank the city for the long partnership and support and ongoing commitment to supporting low-income families.
Excellent. If anybody wants to comment on the action plan or the con plan, feel free to raise your hand and we can just call on you that way.
Including if anyone from MOHS or from the home office has anything they wanted to add that we missed.
Bonnie?
I think Bonnie's got her hand up.
I do, and my lights are also flickering, so I might end up disappearing. But I just wanted to echo Colin as well in thanking the city for their longstanding support of Rebuilding Together Baltimore. We, with the help of CDBG funding and leveraging public and private resources, we were able to serve 79 households just in the city last year. And CDBG has helped support the salaries of the staff members who are helping to coordinate those services. And we thank you for including us in the action plan again.
Thank you, Bonnie. Anyone else? I think everybody just wants to watch the storm.
John Dre's also having technical issues, affordable housing, and we'll be sending letters of support. Thanks, John Dre. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want to know whose rain I can hear so loudly. I can hear my own rain really loudly, but I can also hear someone else's.
I'll put myself on mute. If it's me, you'll know.
No, it was Susan's rain that we could hear. All right. I think that we are good. As Susan had mentioned previously, the plan will still be up for a few more weeks, so people have the opportunity to email us any thoughts or comments that they have on either the action plan or the consolidated plan. Oh, Ashley, you have a hand up?
Yes, so I am, yes, I'm actually on representing Maryland New Directions on this call, and I did want to share my sentiments with some of the others in the chat that we at Maryland New Directions really greatly appreciate our partnership with CDBG. So what we do is we're working with low to extremely low income clients to help them find employment. In fact, this year, fiscal 2025, ending June 30th, we actually surpassed a lot of our deliverables. And one of the ways we've done that is increase our availability to clients to come in, do workshops, and also provide direct support in helping them while applying for jobs. And oh goodness, it is really thundering out there. Hopefully I don't lose power too. But yeah, one of the things we've done is work with our coaches or trainers to have them come in, do some more hands-on support to help them apply for jobs. And we've seen significant improvement in that, especially since helping with Career Focus, which is a new instituted program which allows clients to get some soft skills before they even enter our industry level training. And knowing with the current layoff situation, our goal is to probably serve more clients in the upcoming fiscal year. And I will say again that the support of CDBG has been very vital for that kind of mission. So again, we thank you for your support.
Thank you.
So much for your feedback, and it's so important to us to be able to support organizations like you guys. We are fairly unusual as a CDBG recipient of entitlement funding in that many of them do not sub-grant out to nonprofit community partners, or if they do, it's on a very limited basis. So we consider those partnerships with you guys really, really important to the work across Baltimore, and do our best, even in shrinking funding times, to be able to divvy up the pie as best as we can among all the great organizations and the great work getting done.
Thank you much.
Anyone else? I feel like I hear a faint voice somewhere.
Is that Alice?
All that
No, it
I think.
looks like we can probably convene for the evening. Alice, if you want to take us out.
Thank you, everyone. Just, in closing, once again, Baltimore City Department of Housing and Community Development, the Mayor's Office of Homeless Services, we thank you for participating tonight. As always, I will continue to say, the work that all of you are doing is extremely important to the residents of Baltimore. As you know, and this work is not easy work. It is difficult work. And thank you for being on the front lines, and really, having you and your organizations out there helping to address so many different components of life for persons in Baltimore that are at our low and moderate income households and families and individuals that need assistance in so many different ways. So thank you for choosing this line of work. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your partnership. And we will continue, to do what we can do to advocate on your behalf and to put things forward that can support your agencies and organizations to providing the much needed services for those across the city. So thank you so much. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. Hopefully everybody's electricity stays on for the most part. and trees and so forth don't, I keep looking out the window, but now it is completely dark and looks like it's 11 o'clock at night, so you can't even really see that much right now. So everybody stay safe, stay well. Thank you again, and we'll keep everyone updated as the process continues to move forward. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Be safe.